All right, in this video we're going to talk about the unit. It says Unit 2B. It's actually Unit 1B, Quiz 2 Review. So let's get started. First thing we got is John's grade in AMDM. We're trying to figure out what his overall grade is going to be. So the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out what the average is. So let's go ahead and get started. So my test average here, I have a 90, I have a 95, I have a 100, I have a 95. I'm going to add all that up and I'm going to divide that by 4. The average is going to be 95. The quizzes, I have 3 of them. I'm going to divide by 3. After I add them all up, I get 92. The performance final and the final, I only had 1, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that 1 there. All right. Now I'm going to take the mean score. I'm going to times it by the category percentage. So that's going to be 0.45. That's going to be 0.35. This is where students are going to screw up, guys. 5% is 0.05. Don't forget that, and then 0.15. So when I multiply, I get 42.8, 32.2. Remember, I'm rounding to 1 decimal. Keep that in mind, 3.8. And then lastly, 10.5. So these are all my raw scores here. So if I was going to figure out what his overall grade is, I would just take all my raw scores and just add them up. And I get an 89, rounded to the nearest whole. All right. Next one is Toby's grade. Now, the thing about Toby's grade, just let that bell ring. All right, so the thing about Toby's grade, and that is he hasn't taken the final yet. So the final is a big question mark. All right, so we're going to have to work backwards a little bit. First off, the test scores, I'm going to add them all up and I'm divided by 3, which gives me 82. The midterm is a 79, and the attendance is an 80. All right. Again, I'm going to multiply by the category percentage, 0.45, 0.25, 0.05. So my raw scores end up being 36.9, 19.8, and then lastly, 4. All right. Now, Toby wants to make an 85 in this particular class. All right. Now, in class, when I was going over this, I gave you a relationship. I want to go ahead and get that relationship going one more time, and that is, first off, we start off with the grade he wants. Grade he wants, we're going to subtract the raw scores. We're going to get a number, and then we're going to divide that number by the final exam percentage as a decimal. All right? So this is the relationship. So Toby wants to make, I'll write it down here, he wants to make an 85. We are going to subtract all the raw scores, which is 36.9 minus the 19.8 minus the 4, and when I do the math, I get 24.3. And I'm going to divide that number by the final exam percentage. See that, 25%? 0.25. When I do the math, round it to the nearest whole, Toby's got to make an 87, I'm sorry, correction, a 97 on, excuse me, a 97 on the final in order to get his grade to an 85. All right, next question is dealing with the UPCs. If you remember, the UPC, when applying the UPC procedure, what's step 1? All right, starting with the first number, skipping every other number, adding it all up. And then remember, you're timesing it by 3. UPC times it by 3, you get 60. Now, remember with the UPC, you do not have the 5 to 9. You don't have that step. All right, so that's a non-step in this case. The next one is to take all the numbers that you skipped, all the numbers that I skipped, and add them up. So the total would end up being 81 because I added 60 plus 21, gave me 81. Now remember that this number here should end in a 0, and it does not. All right. So what you're going to have to, excuse me, you're going to have to figure out, okay, is the check digit too big or too small? All right. Now I'm going to do this another way. 81 minus 1 would give me 80. 81 plus 9 gives me 90. All right, so it's either going to be a total of 80 or 90. Well, apply it to the check digit. The check digit is 6. If I subtract 1 from 6, I get 5. If I add 9 to 6, I get 15. Well, the only thing that a check digit can be is a single positive number. It can't be a double digit. So my check digit ends up being 5. All right. John works for organization. All right, we've seen this. All right, we're trying to find the check digit. All right, that's what we're trying to find. So again, step 1 is taking the first numbers, skipping all the other ones. There's the bell again. 9, that's 11, that's 12, 0, 20. Okay, I believe it ends up, I'm doing this all in my head here. I believe that ends up being 22. But I'm going to times it by 3, and I get 66. All right, step 2 is all the ones that I skipped. Let's see, that 5, that 0, that 1 will be 6, stay 6, 11, 11. All right, so that means my total ends up being 77, but I don't know what my check digit is, but I'm at 77, so I'm just going to add 3 to it. You always add up with the check digit. There you go. All right, next is the credit cards. All right, credit cards. Remember, the biggest challenge of this is making sure you keep all your steps in, all your credit card steps in order with all the UPC steps. Keep them separate. That's what I'm trying to say. Hard to do 2 things at once. All right, starting with my first number, skipping every other one. You get 46. Remember, you're also supposed to times by 2. So actually, I got 23 and times it by 2 to get 46. That makes more sense. All right, now this step 2, that's the infamous 5 through 9 range. Which of these numbers are in the 5 to 9 range? Is 4? No. Is this 0? No. No, this isn't it. No, this isn't it. Oh, this is 1. Check. This is another one. Check. No. No. There's only 2 of them. There you go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take these numbers out just so I don't have to see them. All right, so all the numbers that are left, the 4, the 2, the 4, all those I'm going to add up. And when I do that, I get 35. When I add all those steps up, I get a grand total of 83. Now, 83 is no good because this number needs to end in a 0. So it's either we need to subtract. Okay, my technology is dying. Hold on one second. All right, I don't know what happened there. So I either need to subtract 3 from 80. I'm sorry, from 83 to get 80, or I need to add 7 to get a 90. So it's either a -3 or add 7 situation. Well, again, I'm going to just take that and apply it to the check digit. I would get 2, or I would get 12. 2 or 12, which one works? Well, again, it's got to be a single positive digit. The answer is 2. All right, moving on to this one here. Again, check digit for the credit card. Step 1, there. Starting with the first number, skipping every other one. Let's try to do this in my head real quick. 4, that'll be 12, still 12, 14. Let's see, 18, 19, 19, let's see, that would be 28. That'd be what, 33? All right, so step 1, 33 times it by 2. My first step is 66. Which one of those numbers are in the 5 to 9 range? That would be step 2. Let's see. 4, no. 8, yes. No, 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 yes, and yes. Okay, there are 3 of them. I'm going to go and block those out so I don't have to look at extra numbers here. All right, for step 3, let's see, 5 plus 0, still 5, 8. Let's see, that'll be 12, 17, I believe that's 26. So when you do the math, all of this adds up to be, let's see. I'm checking my work as I'm going through this. Yeah, looks like I messed up. All right, dang it. Hold on one second. Okay, actually, no, I didn't mess up. Oops, okay, so it all adds up to a total of 95. And since I'm looking for my check digit, all I got to do is just add up, which would be 5. 5 plus 5, 95, plus 5 is 100. All right, John Davis's season stats are listed below. Find the slugging average for John. All right, so if you remember, when we do this, I will give you the formula. I'm kind of struggling right now. All right, doubles times 2, triples times 3, home runs times 4. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply and put this in a problem. 380 plus, let's see, 57 times 2, that's 114, plus 6, because 3 times 2 is 6, plus 100, all over 950. Let's see. So when I add all this up, I get 600. So 600 over 950. Do the math. Slugging average of 632. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for him. Now, lastly, what is the total number of bases? There's 2 ways you can do this. You can just take your singles times by 1, doubles times by 2, triples times by 3, home runs times by 4. Or if you just notice, all that adds up to be your numerator. So what is John's total number of bases? That would be 600. Pretty simple. All right, now we got to figure out what the singles are. Notice we don't know what that is, so that'll be X. Remember, we times by 1, times doubles by 2, triples by 3, home runs by 4. All right, so when I set this problem up, and we've done this before, so I'm kind of going faster than I should. All right, that'll be X plus, let's see, 69 times 2. I should know that. I want to say, yep, 138. That's what I was thinking. 138 plus 12 plus 58 times 4. Let's see, I believe that's going to be 140. But I'm going to, no, that's 132. 232. Wow, way off. 232 all over the amount of at-bats, which is 1,500. Is equal to the slugging, 588. Shoot. All right, so if you remember, this is just nothing more than a big algebra problem. First thing you need to do is get rid of that denominator by timesing it by the slugging. So 1,500 times this guy right there. So your next step would be X plus 138 plus 12 plus 232 equals 882, and then from there it's nothing more than an algebra problem. So I think X, when I combine like terms, I want to say that ends up being, I should know that. I want to say 382. I think it ends up being 382. We're going to run with it. 882. Subtract 382 from 380 from 882. X ends up being 500. Now again, dealing with the total number of bases. Now the singles is 500. So 500 times 1, 69 times 2, triples times 3, home runs by 4. Do the math. You get 882 bases. All right. Next one. John read a paragraph, and this is what he found. All right, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Now the formulas I will give you, I'm not giving them to you right now. All right, so the fog index. Sorry, the fog index starts off with 0.4. I'm going to double parenthesis. If you double parenthesis, you can actually type this into your calculator all at once. The number of words ends up being 90 over, let's see, what's that? Number of sentences ends up being 15, close parenthesis plus 100, open parenthesis, let's see, what else? Number of complex words. And I'm just following along with the formula here. It's a plug and chug situation. I believe this is going to be 90 number of words. Double parenthesis, you can type it all into your calculator if you double parenthesis. All right. The fog index ends up being 5.1. All right. Now, the Flesch Kincaid one starts off with 0.39. The number of words is 90 again over the number of sentences, which is 15, plus 11.8. Remember, these numbers are non-negotiable. Number of syllables, 145, over the number of words, which is 90. Close parenthesis, minus 1559. Remember, you can go ahead and put all this into your calculator, do the math, and you get 5.8. So now remember what I said about these two measurements here, and that is these are going to be similar. They may not be the same. All right, so similar is the name of the game. All right, so similar is the name of the game. Do not freak out if they are not the same. So, all right, so the rest of the review is going to be extra practice. So I am not going to talk through that because you can just go through everything I just went through. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching.